Experience, your guide to unlocking work-life harmony. I'm Chad Nafusi, joined by my amazing co-host, as always, Benny Rachmaninoff, the CEO of iShook. And we are here to dive into the next chapter of our quest for work-life balance. So, listeners, I know you have. Have you wondered how to achieve that elusive work-life balance with only a limited number of hours in a day? That's the biggest issue we see. It's finite. So you're not alone. Benny and I are here to seek out those answers together, not just for our benefit, but for yours as well. So throughout this podcast series, we're going to delve into various aspects of work-life balance, from managing professional ambitions to nurturing your personal well-being. And throughout it, we're going to share practical tips. We're going to give insights and stories to empower you and ourselves in our quest for balance. So remember, though, this isn't just us talking at you. We want to hear from you. We want to build a community. So we really want you to share your experiences, your challenges, and also your successes. So together we can build this community that we're going to have some growth, resilience, and thriving in every aspect of life, not just professionally, not just personally, but every aspect. So more so than ever, Benny, it's a fast-paced world, and we're trying to find time for both work and life, and that feels like an uphill battle. So fear not, because in this episode, we're going to take something, technology, that sometimes pulls us away from that balance and find out how to utilize it to be an ally in this journey. But first, I want to do a quick recap. Benny, how much fun was our first inaugural episode? I had a blast. I was buzzing all weekend about it.
Definitely, I loved it also, and I think it's going to be a very good end of the year book, with all these podcasts we're doing, honestly, because the
Yes.
stuff that we're teaching and we're educating individuals, and and specifically in the balance aspect, that not everything is about the dollars and cents and conversion. It's about the accomplishments of that's your conversion is your accomplishment sometimes. So if you don't know how to accomplish, you'll never know how to make the dollars and cents, and that's my point of view and why I'm pushing for the show's success every day.
That makes a lot of sense. And having you behind it is a big support, because we were able to get so much insight just from you in our last episode. But remember, we're here kind of just as seekers of answers. We're not saying we're the experts here. We want to do it. And last week we discussed challenges of achieving that work-life balance. We gave some tips, from scheduling your mini vacations to setting your clear boundaries between work and personal time. And we gave 5 different action items to take away, and we're going to do that at the end of today's episode. So stay tuned. We're going to give you actionable items that you can take and implement right away. And please let us know what worked, what didn't work, what you got to try, or what you're planning on trying as well. I think we nearly solved all the world's problems in our first episode, but there's still a few more to resolve this episode, Benny. So I think we should get right into today's topic. And this is exciting because you're the CEO of iShook, and we're talking about technology today. And when we're talking about iShook and technology, you have under the platform, we're dealing with ClickTalk. You have iShookDaily.com. You have iShook AI, which you just recently launched. So you have this whole platform for all these tech tools just under the iShook umbrella that we can use. So I really want to talk about how we could implement those alone with our discussion today. And I know you're really excited about a lot of those, especially the iShook AI that we're going to try live during the episode today.
Definitely, I think what we're trying to do in iShook is give everyone the tools available to the technology that we have today in regards to social media communication, in regards to publication, in regards to actually getting their content out there. And for sure, with ClickTalk, where we're trying to make it better for users, as opposed to using TikTok or any other type of platform that they're not comfortable with. We're trying to make it more human than algorithmic. So there's a huge issue over there that I believe at the end of the game we will stand on top of.
So Benny, fill our listeners in a little bit about ClickTalk, because we're going to be referencing it throughout the show. So how does that differ from TikTok? And let's tie it in as well. Is ClickTalk something that can also give us a work-life balance? Is it going to be giving us those mini breaks, those mini vacations with some entertainment? Will it give some productivity? How will that work? And how does it differ from TikTok rather?
Well, so what happens with TikTok and the other social media platforms, the complexities that occur with creation, right? When you make creation more complex of content, like you don't want to be able to create content out of complexity, right, within the
Right.
user interface. And the user interface with TikTok, Facebook, and X, not as much, by the way, but specifically with the other bigger ones, they become more complicated and creating. Then the creation gives you an anxiety because now you're up
Mm.
to having to create constantly, right? And the constant creation is you have to actually be funneled through this algorithm that they all have. And then what ends up happening is that your performa of creating this content is like now you have not a 9 to 5 job, you literally have a 7 to 7 job.
Right.
And then you have this anxiety, oh, I need more views, I need more this, I need more that. And then what ends up happening is your creation and whatever you're doing, you're creating wrong decisions. So what we're trying to do with ClickTalk and iShook is that we want to give creators and users the ability to question for guidance. So
Right.
what ends up happening is a lot of these social medias, they don't give you real guidance. They give you like a
Hmm.
whole 1,000-page Megillah. What do you have to do? How do you have to follow? And then you make mistakes. So we want to use the ability where you don't have to make those mistakes. Ask us in advance, talk to us in advance. You know what I mean? Like if let's say we have for every 10 creators, we'll give them one advisor. Like that's our
Nice.
goal.
Right.
That's what we
Hmm.
want to do with ClickTalk. That's what we want to do with everything that we're doing in the social media space and the creation space. So let's say if a person has an advisor, right, and the advisor says he
Hmm.
says I want to do this and this type of show. Of
Right.
course, we're going to give the advisor 10 influencers and creators that are separate genres. We're not going to give him one person with the same genre or with the same
Right.
category, right? Because we don't want to make a conflict of interest. So what's going to happen is this individual will come to him or her or whoever they are, right? And start guiding them in a legal aspect because then they'll be able to talk to our legal team. Yes, you can
Right.
do that. No, you can't do that. Oh no, you need to really talk to your legal team because it's not relevant to us. Like give guidance where people have an ability not to mess up when it comes to creating a content that can be troublesome tomorrow. Because we don't want to cancel people, right? We want to
Right.
help individuals, right? And we also want to make sure that the individuals are in the right place. So ClickTalk is really a merge of TikTok and literally TikTok and YouTube in one
Okay.
platform. You can actually
Right.
and ClickTalk is just the app. The actual website is iShook.tv. So you go to
Right.
iShook.tv and you can create an account and you can import your videos already that you have through YouTube, Vimeo, and all the other platforms. You can import them in, and then you can already
Right. Oh, you
start your
can.
channel.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't
So if
have
you
to.
if
It's
you
like
have a whole library, right.
yeah, it's like Rumble. Rumble does the same thing. You can just import your YouTube stuff in there. You can upload your own hard files as well. You can do whatever
Right.
you need to do, and there's a social media section into it. You have shorts. You can import shorts as well. There's so much over there that interacts. You can create articles with your video as well. It's all
Right.
available on ClickTalk and iShook.tv.
I
So
love
it's
that.
great.
So that's exactly because my first topic I wanted to discuss for us was how we see AI evolving to support work-life balance in the future. And you just nailed it with what ClickTalk is doing. You're saying you're not alone. You have a whole team behind you. So you see, in general, you do see that AI is not going to pull us away, but rather we can utilize it almost as an assistant, would you say, to give us more work-life balance and just tech in general?
Yes, it's like I call it, and this is trademark pending, AI with human eye. So you use AI with
Love it.
human eye basically means you use the AI, but we have to oversee the AI. We give the oversight to the AI, and that's really important.
Right. Right, because that's one of the biggest concerns when you're dealing with the ethics of AI is how much do you give over to something that's artificial. But that makes sense because you can use the technology. There's a Tikkun Olam, I believe it is, where technology harnesses to address various social issues, societal issues, poverty, environmental concerns, things like that. So you can use it to help repair the world instead of it being a harmful or what
Right, but
people
remember,
are the concerns about it. Yeah.
right, but AI is very specific. It's and this we had this with the podcast with Tom Ellsworth,
Hmm.
and AI itself is predictive
Hmm.
AI.
Right.
So who is what is the predictive formula? So whatever the predictive formula in AI, whatever it is, that's
Hmm.
what's going to control the automation. So remember, and we spoke about it with war and how AI will be integrated with war and warfare.
Yeah.
Now,
Hmm.
and warfare, it needs a war. AI needs a war to understand the predictions of war. So one of
Right.
the key
Right.
elements we discussed, and he's like, you got to watch this podcast. And one of the key elements we discussed how 95, like war is never 100%. It's 95%. But
Right.
the AI would think it's 100% because they don't know the
Right.
differentiation between what's right and wrong. And then the nuances what could be right and wrong is different than what you might say, what I might say. Like, and he mentions
Right.
very important. It's like the split second decisions. Those are important. Those split
Hmm.
second decisions is where you make more accurate determination as a human being. But AI doesn't have
Right.
that split second decision. They have instant decision. It's like instant prediction. Oh, he has a gun, shoot him, boom, that's it. But did you scan? Was he undercover? And was he one of us undercover? Like these are
Right.
certain things. Was there a call number? I mean, like there's so many things that can be involved. And again, it doesn't mean
Right.
right. So the same thing when we're doing life balance and issues, you can use AI to help you, right? But
Hmm.
it all depends on the prediction of the AI and how it does the prediction.
Right.
Is
And
yeah,
past performance isn't always indicative of future performance either. And we know that from watching things like the stock
wow,
market or watching
exactly.
things like war. When you're shooting that, AI can never take into effect a branch falling and knocking things out of the, whatever it may be, it
Exactly.
can't. So that's
AI doesn't,
fascinating
and
having
plus,
to. Mhm.
no doubt, AI doesn't have the advanced information that it would
Right.
need, right? That
Hmm.
humanity has. 500 years of moral compass built in morality and
Right.
society growing morality and the experiences that we all, they don't have that data. And how are you going to input that data? Because they're not in real time. So you can't
Right.
have, for AI to be real time AI, it has to have been studied real time for 100 years. That's what I think.
Right. Right. And that's why I love your pending trademark, AI with a human eye, Benny, because that's what's needed. That's the kind of balance we're
Yeah,
talking about here.
for
Brilliant.
sure,
I
for sure.
love it.
That's exactly
Okay.
what we need.
Wow. So tell me though, because so we're talking about limitations on time and predicting, how it works in the future, work-life balance. What AI tools are you using or different technologies that you are personally using to just manage your time? Because one thing that's always been difficult are these quotidian tasks where we're just doing repetitive tasks over and over. But now AI can help us eliminate a lot of that time and really implement these different tools and technologies. Are there any that you're using every day that you're like, this is easy? And it could be something as simple as, hey, Siri, set an alarm. So, and everybody who's listening
Oh,
now, I just set their alarm for them.
right. Yeah.
Everyone listening probably.
Yeah, I do use Siri alarm for, let's say I have a
Hmm.
meeting and I need to take
Right.
like the 15-minute downtime like we spoke about last week. And
There you
then
go.
and I would say, listen, Siri, I got set up alarm 1:55 or 12:55, I got a podcast, right? And I take
Right.
a little rest in order for me to be fully rested for a podcast, right? Because you have to have energy to discuss on the whim and focus on an
Yeah,
individual for an hour. I mean, I don't think a lot of people have
absolutely.
a education how to focus, right? So it
You're
takes
right. Yeah.
time to focus, and
Right.
you got to learn how to focus, which is another thing we should definitely have a podcast on. A determination and focus, which is
Yes.
should be part of balance in general. The
Right.
AI that we use is obviously an AI. Well, first I want to show. Let me see what we can share our screen here. All right. So first, I would want to show. I would ask in our, so we have an app called iShook.com, which anyone can
Okay.
sign up, right? And eh, and what we have over here is, let me just redo it here. So we have over here generate a post, and what we can ask to generate a post. We can ask Chat GPT, which is
Okay.
integrated, to generate a post, and I'll ask for 500 characters to
And again,
generate a
this is
post.
iShook AI or
No, this is
iShook AI.
iShook.com. This is the
Uh,
iShook.com integrating
iShook.com. Okay.
AI. Okay, this is the
Gotcha.
first
Okay.
part
Great.
and what we do.
Okay.
So we create a post on iShook.com because again, when you want to do work-life balance, you also want to share with community, right? You
Right.
want to get the community involved. So this is one way of posting. Okay,
Okay.
just give it a second. It's posting. It's
Yeah.
doing its thing, and right now it's already has a post
Amazing.
available,
Look at
right?
that.
And I'm gonna do use this post, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna share the post,
Right.
and boom, it has shared the post, I believe. Let me see.
And talk about work-life balance. I mean, this is taking under a minute.
Yeah. So you can see over here, we add posts over here that are done generated by an AI.
Right. Wow.
And then you're good to go. I mean, let me just try to do it another way. Let me do it
Okay.
a little bit
Yeah.
300
And for
less.
those of you again who are playing along at home, this is iShook.com. You can find this all there. It's integrated AI, and it's a lot more going on. Benny has so many things under his network and umbrella to help you. You're going to be a one-stop shop here with iShook with everything going on, which is really cool.
Yeah, and that's what we want. We want to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
we're here we go. Okay, so there we go. So there is a limit. I'm going to exceed the limit on the AI on the posting. So you
Okay.
see over here, we did an AI post,
Right.
and over there we already were able to do the post.
Right. And it's already up. It's already there. And this has been a minute or two. So Benny, when we're talking about work-life balance, we're talking about finite minutes and time in a day. You just showed me how to take something that would take an hour.
Yeah,
And you did it in a minute while talking to me. You weren't even fully focused on it.
yeah, I wasn't focused.
You know,
That's why we're
multitask.
having that's why we're having a little bit. So now we have
Yeah.
another more expansive AI, right? And
Okay.
this is more of an expansive AI. It's called my iShook.ai, right?
Love it.
And the beauty about this AI is that you can have AI editor,
Okay.
post title
Oh
generator,
wow.
summarize
Okay.
tool, like the tools that are available to you here are beyond. You have AI to speech, AI YouTube. Like you could take
Right.
any YouTube channel, drop the link
Hmm.
here, right?
Right.
Here, drop the
Okay.
link here and generate a blog. Sorry, now I just dropped the link for
Real.
YouTube.
Okay.
And it's very cheap,
And this
nine
will
ninety
make
nine a month. You get a million.
right.
You get an unlimited amount of words per month, and but you got
Okay.
10,000 images per month credit. So
It's you couldn't even get a half hour of an administrative assistant for $9.99 a month, Benny. This it's a great value. It really
right,
is for all that's doing. This is amazing, and this is exactly one of the things I wanted to share with our viewers and listeners in this podcast. So these are ways you can really gain hours in a day. We can't physically, literally make more hours in a day, but we can find ways to make things quicker, faster, more effective. And this is one way. So this is fantastic. So okay, so this is typing it all up right now, a blog post for YouTube. So this is something that using technology to find work-life balance, because what I find so many people using technology to pull them away from it. They're now multitasking, they're pulled in so many different directions. But if you know the right tools and technologies to use, it can really streamline things for you.
right.
Yeah.
So the reason why we did this iShook.ai is to
Okay.
consolidate a one stop shop what people will want to do. And
Right.
basically we don't want like I use multiple AI platforms, third party. It doesn't have to necessarily be iShook. Not everything iShook
Right.
can make, right? So we're
Right.
affiliated with many other third party, which we'll announce in another podcast, right? But
Hmm.
I want to focus right now on our platform, right? So this iShook.ai does so much more than you can imagine. I mean, even the like for example, you're not gonna go use, and this is where people I'm going to just skip that. You're not going to be
Sure.
go use and create images from DAL E, right, which is Chat GPT's AI
Hmm.
for images, or Stable Fusion. But now with our
Hmm.
platform, you're able to have both Stable Fusion and DAL E to create
Wow.
images. So you don't have to jump, and actually the prompting here is much more easier to use. And then you
Hmm.
have AI rewriter, right?
Hmm.
You have the ability to rewrite an article or rewrite something based on a small paragraph.
Right.
You have AI article wizard, right? An AI that will help you create an article where you just put the prompts of
Right.
what kind of article you want, and then you have
Wow. And what
AI
about, I
editor.
see AI plagiarism in there as well, because I know
Yes,
that's been a big issue.
you can
So,
do plagiarize tech. You can check if whatever
mhm.
you AI has done if it's plagiarized, and you can use brand voice. I can do an AI voice, right? Brand voice, generate
Wow.
icon
Right.
exclusive to your brand, and limit the need to repetitive introductions of your company. So there's
Right.
many things you can do with this AI, and we have it all ready to go. I mean, you can just sign up today. The plans are very well. This is my this is what do you call it? This is
Right.
our administrative plan. We have billions, right, of access.
Right. Right.
Right, but that's the idea of what you have here in AI in general. And
Okay.
then if just to go back to iShook.tv and what we discussed before, so now you can use that to create. Right, this is the
Right.
videos that we have. Again, we're just starting. You know, we're gonna
Right.
start getting other accounts slowly but surely. And then you have iShook Daily, so I can create an article and then go to iShook Daily. And here's our good friend, Mr. Chad,
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
in the press release, and Kira, who's also, I gotta drop her name too. And then you're
Yes.
able to go here in the profile, and you're able to create your own article link and RSS feed of articles you've written, of articles you produced. You can, just to give you an example, let's go to the, this is the admin profile of ours. Let's go to
Right.
add post. So you're here already, and you can create a live blog. You can go a full
Wow.
live blog. You can do an article. You can do just a gallery of images, like anything, like what's the platform with
Yeah.
article, Pinterest. You can do a
Right.
audio. You can put a podcast and audio, and then put a full transcript there. You could put a video here.
Wow.
So basically, if I do a video, I could take that video I have, and then put the full blog here, right? And then this way I get the title, and I'm already going to be on the Google, monetization and AdSense, right? And then we
Right.
have our own program where we
So if
give
you're an
monetization.
entrepreneur and
If you're a journalistic entrepreneur,
yeah,
this is the
if you're an
platform for you.
entrepreneur and you have to,
I'm sorry.
yeah, or even just running a business now where you have to write your articles, write your blog posts, write your social media, you don't have to hire a whole team. You need to just learn this platform, which seems very intuitive, and you're able to really get so much for you all under the, this is great. Really exciting, because this is the kind of technology I want to share with our audience so they know what's going to help them finding this kind of balance that we're discussing. So
Right,
that's
and
great. The day is
no doubt.
for finding that
Right,
kind
no
of
doubt. And on
balance.
top of that, you can also
Yeah.
hire one person to do this for you. You don't need 1,000 people to do this for you. Right? One person can do all these
Right.
prompts, all these steps all day, and you can do your press releases, you can do everything, and get monetized via iShook Daily. We give you points on it, and then eventually those points are equal to dollars and cents. So that's
Right.
another monetization fund for a person who wants to have it. And I mean, that's basically it in what we have with regards to AI technology. And you can leverage this AI, create topics. And they can ask suggestion. You can be suggestive. What you can ask the AI, because we have many chats. Oh, I want to show you the chats. Actually, that'll be even better. Let me show you the
Okay.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great. And I think it's going to be very helpful for the audience to see exactly what's available for them. They may not even know is an
Right.
option.
So in our AI, we have a chat system.
Okay.
Just to show you the chat, we have AI.
All right.
File chat. Here we go. Not that one.
And for those of you watching or even just half watching and listening, Benny's doing this while doing a podcast with me, while doing other things. And it's so intuitive and so fast as well. So if you were doing this in unitasking versus multitasking, it would be even smoother and faster.
All right.
So
No doubt.
It's really cool how you're able to do this and still hold a conversation.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. But that takes time and skill. It takes time. You gotta educate you. So we have over here a finance expert chat. We have over here a nutritionist chat. Again, we have a career counselor.
Wow.
So these chats are developed in that. And we also have an ability within our chat system, but I'll do this in another time where I will show people how to do it, where you can train your own chat bot to do your own, products. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Right.
This is
We'll get
also
to know you
available in
more.
ChatGPT, but this is more organized, and we're combining several AI technologies into one platform.
Right, because you probably, like everyone else, has been jumping between a bunch of them, and you don't become a master of any. So to have it under one umbrella, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
And look at this time management consultant right there. This is exactly what we're talking about. So if we were to click on
let's
that,
try it.
we can
Let's
type
try it.
in
I mean,
what
I haven't used
do
it, so
okay.
let's try it. What do you want to write?
Right. Okay. So we want to know we want to work on certain tasks for next week.
Okay.
Right. So it'll help us maybe do a to-do list to prioritize what their suggestions are to prioritize starting the week off on Monday, because that's the biggest way.
So please provide me a to-do list to manage. Sorry, guys. Manage my time. Starting. I'm sorry, guys. I just I don't have my glasses on. Starting next week, Monday.
Yes, on Monday, right, to make it the productive start to the week. Okay, so that was about 20 seconds. So here you go. Boom. Now they went above and beyond. They gave us Monday through Friday. So it's supposed to be daily, but right. So some of it's obviously more routine or quotidian, just
Right,
daily
but then from
things.
this,
And other things
right,
are
but then from
things.
this you can add. So
Mhm.
tell me what you want to add. What would you want to add to this?
Right. So we want to say, okay, throw in that we want to have 2 hours of focus
Okay.
time
Okay, we
daily
want to
to work
have
on
2 hours of focus time daily
future
to work on
podcast
future
episodes, for
podcast
example.
episodes. And please provide, one second, I'm going to write, and please provide suggestions of focus time, of how to get focused.
Nice. Right. Okay. This is great. And again, something like this, I suggest taking these lists, printing them out, and then physically crossing them off too. So utilize modern technology with the good old fashioned pen and paper. So you type that in 20 seconds. This already has this
Look,
up.
so you can really see it. Set
I
specific,
mean,
clearly define what you aim to accomplish during
okay.
those 2 hours. By the way, the reason why I'm looking this way, I have another screen here, guys. All right, so
Okay.
so the people don't think I'm like, why am I not looking at the screen? Because I'm reading from.
I do as well. When you see me looking over, I have
Right.
multiple
So,
screens too.
and that's the
Okay.
hence the entrepreneur. If you don't have a computer with at least 3 screens, I don't know what you're doing.
Right. Right.
So set specific
That's true.
goals, clearly define what you aim to accomplish during those. Having a specific goal in mind can help maintain focus and motivation. Create a distraction-free environment. So it gives you the list of what you should do as a task, right? And it
Right. Right.
organizes yourself, and you
And
have the time management as well.
And the fact that you're even typing in the prompts, getting this out, and then going through it, it in and of itself is going to add to productivity because you're taking a time to set up a plan before you implement anything. And that's half the battle instead of going in, trying to figure it out as you're going in with a game plan. So this is amazing what it can do for you. But let's talk about one question that a lot of people have. And I want to know your thoughts on this. And obviously, with your background, I'm really interested here. What are your thoughts on ethical considerations on using AI in general, not just for in general, but just for your work-life balance and really, I guess, overall? So the ethical considerations
Right.
here.
Um, so I will give you a scholarly response to it, and it's a Talmudic kind of
Okay.
response, and it goes as
Okay.
follows. In the Talmud, it says that the Torah, the can be the drink, the elixir of life or the elixir of death. That means
Okay.
any
Expound on that.
power
Yeah.
you have can be used good for bad or bad.
Okay.
And actually, Thomas Ellsworth said it. It's AI is like we're the trigger of AI, right? We're the
Right.
trigger. We're the ones who are pulling the trigger when
Right. We
we
give it
give it
life.
life and we give it direction.
Right.
And we
Right.
can literally, and you can see they can
Okay.
change the direction of AI at any moment. Like I don't personally believe AI is going to be sentient. I mean, people think that AI is going to
Right.
be sentient.
It
I
can't.
don't
Right.
believe any AI could be sentient. I don't think it's possible.
Right. Right. It's limited by its literal program. It is limited. It can't.
Right.
Right. That
Right.
makes
And
sense.
especially
Sure.
if people think
Okay.
in robotics, like the world of the robots, right? I don't think that I think we are at least 50 to 100 years away from
Mhm.
where robotics and data storage will ever become
Okay.
together as one. So think of what I'm saying.
Right.
What am I? So you notice in how Nvidia released that new processor worth like $1 million or
Mhm.
something, $250,000 or like $500,000, right? Look how big that is.
Right.
You
Right.
would need a processor, I personally believe, at least 100 times more to be embedded in a robotic humanoid or any robot that you want to put it into. So the
Right.
processing of AI within a robot, I think we're very far off, very far away.
Right.
And by the
Right.
way, will I?
Right. And as
Right?
we get,
No, go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as we get closer to that, we're going to also have other safeguards in place. So it's not all where all of a sudden quantum computing AI is going to fall into place without us also having time to set up some procedural safeguards and things like
I
that
think we're
also.
far away from
So,
combining technologies. That's my only point. Yes, we have these technologies, but personally, I think
right.
we're far away from it. Will I am said something very smart. We have to focus on human technology, the human eye, the human AI, right? Like the human, the
Mhm.
humanic,
Right.
developing a person's human mind more. I mean, honestly, we used to remember phone numbers, and now we stop because of the accessory of the iPhone, right?
Right.
Like we
Right. If you lose your phone, you can't call
yeah,
people. You're in
you're
trouble. There's
done
no
for.
way
That's why
to
you got to
call
buy an
people.
iWatch.
Right. That's
That's why
right.
you got to buy
And then
an
you
iWatch.
lose your wrist and you have a
Yeah.
problem.
So if you
Yeah,
lose both,
that's
then you're
right.
screwed, right?
You need two. That's right. Right. That makes sense. So, okay. And I like what you're saying about the elixir of life versus the elixir of death. That makes a lot of sense, um, because it is. It's how your perspective and how you utilize it. So you can use this technology to either be splintered, or you can use this technology to help you find that balance that we're talking about and that we're looking for here. And that's something that's really important. So I like what you're saying is it's how you use it. You are the engine behind it. And it's also the engine behind what's forcing this AI as well. So I like that's fascinating. That's a good way to look at it. And it's empowering too, because if we are the engine, if it's our perspective, then we're in more control. And that's what we're looking for as well. So okay, so you're not too worried about ethical issues here, at least not for the foreseeable future.
Well, I do believe there's ethical issues in regards to how you use the AI, right? What we're
Sure.
doing here is not an ethical issue of data crunching, right? And
Right.
journalistic work and literary work. That's not like that's
Right.
all we literally. That's what iShook is using AI for. It's literary work, data
Mhm.
information, knowledge, right? We're not using AI for predictive use in the battlefield or in an engineering structure and a building structure. I personally I would not want AI being used for calculations on a building without a human person reviewing those calculations.
Right.
I don't
Right.
want to like. Any engineering or any municipality should really take that in consideration. Don't think you're going to be able to use the AI to do those things and not you, and you're not going to review it. You have to review it. The AI is only as strong as we are. That's my point.
Right. Good, and good old checks and balances. We go back, AI with the human eye,
Yeah,
Benny. I
yeah.
love it because it makes sense. It's only the only way it works, and it does keep you in control. So when we're talking about, there are individuals who still are hesitant about using AI in general, but mainly for personal productivity, what we're talking about here. So what advice would you give an individual who is hesitant about using AI for personal productivity and work-life balance? Or are you saying, look, go for it, tap in, try iShook.com, learn it, it's intuitive? Because that's what I'm getting from this, is that don't be hesitant, dive in, and you'll see how helpful it is right from the get-go. What are your thoughts there?
I believe so. This is my real thing. If you want to get into
Mhm.
having full productivity, yes, you use
Mhm.
AI as an accessory, not as your prime. The prime is educating your mind to do what an AI can
Right.
do. You're only using the AI is to save time. But if you're using AI as a crutch and you haven't trained your mind, how will you interact with peoples who are in the game? It's like when you're playing
Right.
basketball or
Right.
football, there's an IQ level in basketball and football where you have to understand
Mhm.
how the game is played and how baseball is played. All these games have now a science to it, and you got to learn the
Right.
science of it. So when you're learning the science to it, you're able to now play in the game.
Right. You wouldn't even know what prompts to put in if you don't have the rudimentary knowledge, or even further knowledge on what to ask and what to ask
Exactly.
it
It's
to do.
like when you're using case law
Right.
websites like case text or lexicon, right? And using those case law, and you know this. You
Mhm.
you probably use those case law websites, right, to search. If you don't know the law enough,
Mhm.
you're not going to know what to search and how to search it, right?
Right.
So the
Right. You won't know where even to
right. So
begin or what
I
to search
personally
for.
believe as an entrepreneur, if you don't have the ability to do research, you're a dead entrepreneur.
Right. No, that's a great point. It's even, we've had the ability, look, in not AI, not technology, in things like going back to the Dewey Decimal System. If you didn't know what you were searching for, that whole system in libraries was not useful for you. You need to know the basics of what to search for in order to utilize it. So that's a great
Yeah.
point. So don't be hesitant to use it, but you need to have the knowledge the intelligence, the education to know what to ask it to do for you. And that's a great point. So don't use it as a crutch and don't use it in place of that education, but use it as an adjunct
Exactly.
to that
Exactly. And that's what
education.
I try to
Right.
teach everybody,
That's great. Great
because
advice.
let's say you don't have those things available to you, then what are you going to do? Not work, not make your money, not make your
Right.
things successful.
Right.
So you cannot rely on it.
Mhm.
It's a good tool to save time and money, but it's not necessarily a good
Right.
tool to make it your go-to. Like, for example, you're going to ask whatever we did with iShook.ai to find to what's it called, to find some to write an article, right? You still got to vet that article. Like, even in iShook
Right.
Daily, you're not going to get to put an article and post it without our editors reviewing it, because we want to make sure did you write it right? If it's an opinion, you have every right to write the opinion, and we have opinion on the title, right? But if it's a fact, you
Right.
want it
Right.
right,
That's
and if you wanted
important.
to make it
Right.
an article, a real article, then you got to have citation of your article. And if you don't have enough citation, we won't let it go through, or we're not going to shut you down. We're going to ask you, please provide more
Right.
citation, and you'll get an email from us. Please provide more
Right.
citation for the article.
Right. Oh, that's great. And that shows.
Right.
Okay. I like that. Right. Okay. So we've discussed your thoughts on AI and how it's going to work with work-life balance. But I want to get into some specifics, not yet the takeaways, but these are things that that people can do that are out there too. So when we're talking about you can leverage, we're talking about time management, right? There's only so many hours in a day. That's my biggest issue, why I'm so fascinated with work-life balance, because it's finite. The only thing I ever think of is I need to give up sleep because I have so much to do, but that's not the answer, right? We know that at night you need to recharge, you need to rest, and that's super important. So how can we make that time in the day work better? So number one, time management. AI is amazing with everything from calendar apps to scheduling, prioritizing tasks. Use that algorithm to suggest optimal meeting times and to how to do, just like we did with the example you showed with planning our day. That's time management. And it's also time management using AI to help us set up a time management task. We did that in what, 30 seconds, Benny? And we had a whole plan laid out for next
Yeah.
week. That could save
I
you
mean, and
hours.
obviously we can edit the plan. It's not etched in stone, right? But it gives you
It's
the
a starting
base.
point. Right.
Exactly. And that's what AI is also good about, the starting points.
Mhm.
It gives you a starting point.
Right. Sometimes you may have a good jumbled idea of what you want to accomplish in the next week, and you say, "Hey, AI, you organize this for me." Then you take it from there and
Exactly.
then make it work for you. So it is. It's a good starting point. It's like having a junior assistant under you. Hey, give me this, and then I will make it mine at the end too. So there's also time tracking apps, which are really cool because they identify all these time-consuming tasks. So I don't know if you use any of these, but there's so many tasks and apps out there that use productivity insights. They suggest time-saving strategies. I don't know if there's any suggestions you have with that, but that's a really great one just to know that that's out there when you're trying to find that time-life balance, because sometimes you don't know how much time today you're wasting just flipping through.
Right. So I'll be honest with you. If you're sleeping from 9 till 6 or 7,
Mhm.
you're going to need a time management app.
Right.
There's no doubt about it, because
Yes.
most of your time is sleeping. You're burning your
Mhm.
time of sleep. I personally think you only need 5 to 6 hours of sleep.
Mhm.
And sometimes I tell people, and I do this, I do all nighters. I still
Mhm.
do it. I'm young. I think I can do it for another 5, 10 years.
Mhm.
And then even when you get to a certain age, you'll already be used to it.
Right.
But what I do sometimes is a little bit different. What I do sometimes, if I sleep when I'm exhausted. That's
Right.
what I do.
Okay. Okay.
So whatever it is, when I'm exhausted, I sleep. When I'm not exhausted, I don't sleep.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So
But
how many you sleep what, 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours a day, you're saying?
yeah, but it's sometimes 3 hours at night, 2 hours during
Mhm.
the day.
Oh, I see. Right. And it sounds like then under protest because you don't want to sleep. You have so many things to do, but you're
Yeah,
exhausted. You
I don't
need
want
it.
to miss
Yeah.
out time, because that's a
Right.
commodity you can't get back. Money you can always make.
Right.
Time you can never make,
Yep.
right? And
What
when
do
you're
you do,
young,
Benny?
right,
Yeah. Well, when your mind is racing and you have all these ideas and you are full of ideas and things you're doing, what do you do to calm your mind before you sleep or before bed? Do you have any tricks
oh,
with
I
that?
can
Because
sleep. I
that's
can go to sleep right away. I'm
oh
very
yeah.
Yeah, I can. I have
Okay.
a natural ability to go to
Benny,
sleep right away.
live on air right now. We're going to have you go to sleep. We're going to show everyone.
No,
Go.
I'm not going to do it now because I'm not sleepy.
No, I know.
But what I do suggest individuals to do, if they really, really want to make it and they really want to get the
Mm,
good time sleep, right? Because from 10 to 2, the study says the best time to sleep, 10 to 2 in the morning.
right, right.
So what
Okay.
I would suggest is you go to sleep at 9 and wake up literally 6 hours later. Start your
Okay.
days at 3 or 30 or 4 in the morning. Do
Mm,
all the tasks you need to do where you know you don't have to interact with people. The tasks that
right,
don't need interactions,
right.
complete those tasks. Then from 8 and 11 or 12, do all the other tasks and all the meetings you have to do. And then you got the
Mm,
whole
that's
afternoon off
great.
to yourself.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Right. So, right. Because if you're trying to do those tasks where they don't involve people during regular working hours, you're getting crushed by everybody pulling you in different directions.
Exactly. And then you lose
Ah,
the ability to accomplish your tasks. And it's all
yes. Oh,
about
I love that.
disciplining yourself to sleep early. Just go to sleep
Right.
9 and wake up at 3:30, 4 in the morning.
Right. And you don't, when before you're going to sleep, then you don't have a routine where you're having tea or meditating or anything. You are at that point just exhausted and you're ready to go to sleep.
Me, I go to listen. You know my background, right? So for
Hmm.
me, I am doing not just iShook. I have other major things that I have to do. But
Right.
again, I believe personally, when you study a lot as an academic, you have trained your brain muscle more
Hmm.
than the average person. And that's why I
Right.
say that's why big entrepreneurs, billionaires, millionaires always say you must read. Reading is like the gym for your brain.
Yes. Right.
Like you have to read a book, read a or a textbook, even a textbook. Oh, it's boring. No, textbooks
Right.
will defragment your brain and focus your brain on a way of wavelength of thinking. Most people, when they're thinking, their thinking is not organized properly.
Hmm.
It's not categorized. Your brain is not indexing information. And the reason why it's that way, because you haven't
Hmm.
trained your brain to index information. That's why reading books trains your brain to index information. And it's a
Right.
muscle. Once you're able to do
Hmm.
that, you're able to balance your life and your schedule.
Wow, right. So you're training your brain to do that, and then it will automatically start doing that, which will be a self-fulfilling prophecy because then all of a sudden things become more aligned, make
More
more
organized.
sense, and
Right.
you're doing it that way without even realizing, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Right.
Interesting. Right.
Because you have
Okay.
to treat your brain like a computer.
Right. Are there any books that you reread that you've reread and suggest our audience you this is a must. You've got to read this because I know I have some that every year I have to
Well, I'll
reread.
be honest with you. I don't read. See, the thing is, I read books in Hebrew, right? So I don't
Okay.
read a lot in English. What I do
Right.
read in English, what I do read in
Mhm.
English, is maybe 100 to 1,000 pages of articles,
Okay, right.
right? Online websites, articles, research every day, and then I do research
Mhm,
because I apply what I learned as an academic, rabbinical scholar. I apply
mhm,
those methods of learning
mhm.
to the secular learning,
Right,
which is in
right.
front of me in business and everything. I mean, like I'm reading things from court decisions. I'm reading things from SEC decisions. I'm
Mhm.
reading things from articles about current events. I'm
Right,
watching podcasts. And I'm analyzing like podcasts that give analyzations. For example, PBD, his podcast
right.
analyzation. Piers Morgan
Mhm.
analyzation. I'm watching podcasts that are actually giving analytics and commentary. All right,
Okay.
and I'm going through social media, reading the commentaries, watching what people analyzing. See, people are watching social media and they're like you're just binge watching.
Mindless.
Right,
Right,
mindless. I'm looking at analyzing. Okay, what is she doing in this influencer? Like she's saying
right.
stupid things. What does she mean? What does she want? Like, what is the
Right, right.
message? Like, I'm starting to analyze in detail
And
what
is
the
it
message is.
resonating? Right.
Yes, yes. So I'm doing different data crunches, and the reason why I'm doing it that way. Yes, I read
Mhm.
books. It's not that I don't read books in English. Right? I read a lot of history
Right.
books. I read a lot of
Mhm.
books. Right, but the flex is not necessarily come just from a book. The flex comes from data mining. Your human mind has the data mine, meaning your
Right. So it's
mind has
right.
the data mine.
Active participation in whatever you're doing, watching, listening, instead of passive, instead of just being fed things. Even if you're watching, you should
Exactly.
be analyzing. Yeah.
Exactly. And you have to, because if you're not, and again, that will train your analytics skill. That will
Right.
train whatever. And again, AI, everyone has the ability now with AI. You have an
Hmm.
assistant who can assist you in thinking properly, per se. Not always. You still need
Right.
to have background information because it can make a lot of mistakes, right? But you have an assistant that does for you tasks that you don't have to do.
Right. And the beauty of it is when we're talking about work-life balance, now the way you're training your brain to be focused like this, you are now able to take 10, 20 minutes, hyper focused, and make that as productive as someone without this training. It would take them an hour. And you're able to do it quickly and more efficiently.
Yes, yes. Because if again, it's 10 years worth of study, and I
Right.
listen, and I'll be honest with you, I expect lawyers, those who
Hmm.
get PhDs or doctorates, to and I guess this is really the reason why you're obligated to write a thesis at the end of your PhD or your doctorates, right? Because
Hmm.
you have to do a research material and you have to have
Yeah.
academic pursuits on it, and it's basically
Hmm.
training the mind for you to be analytical based on information. What ends up
Right.
happening, a lot of these doctors and lawyers are not, no offense to the lawyers and the doctors, but it's just an
Hmm.
example of profession that they don't go beyond. After they pass the test, they get the PhD, they're not really doing most of the research work. Who's doing it? The
Hmm.
paralegal.
Right.
Unless
Right.
unless you're a lawyer or a doctor who has enormous memory, that you already know the material, you already know the law, you already know the medical, right?
Hmm.
That's huge in itself.
So no
You know,
matter what you're doing, no matter what your field is, you're saying you've got to constantly be working your brain or you'll lose it just like a muscle if you're not physically doing it.
yeah, I mean, look at Michael Jordan. I
Right.
mean, love of the game. He knows the game. He has the IQ for the game. He spent
Right.
10, 15 hours a day in the game.
Right.
And that's what gave him 6 rings, right? I
Hmm.
mean, think about that.
Yeah.
That's the reality. You're not going to achieve to be the best without working to be the best. And the brain.
I.
So again, you can only have balance in the mind is if you
Hmm.
have worked the muscle, right? Like your
Right.
your
And,
your
and
calf
yeah.
muscles, if they're weak, you're not going to be able to stand, right? That's the reality. That's why I suggest to everybody.
Right. And then once you work your calf muscles and they help you stand, you don't now need to think, oh, I'm bouncing, I'm standing. That's go. You're free to do that. And so you can do it. It's interesting you bring up Michael Jordan because I saw a documentary with Kobe Bryant. And when a lot of his teammates were coming in from partying at 4 or 5 a.m., he was getting up and going to the basketball court to go work out. And that's how he became the best of the best and a level above. And he didn't stop that once he hit the NBA. And you shouldn't stop that once you get a doctorate. You need to keep going and keep
Yes, continue
elevating, especially as
education.
other people are.
That's right.
Absolutely. That's great. What about on the physical level, Benny? So we're talking all mental. Are there anything physical? Do you go take a walk to clear your head? Anything, a swim,
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that?
Walking,
Hmm.
swimming. I would love to do swimming, but it's not possible. For me to go
Right.
swimming, I'm maybe wasting 2 hours travel time to get to the pool, right? Whatever it is,
Right.
it's New York City. You don't have pools available all over.
Right.
Um, what else? In regards to working out, yeah, I have what's it called? Max Pro, right?
Hmm.
Max
Yeah.
Pro,
Right.
the
Right at home.
yeah,
Yeah.
right at home. Should I be doing more exercise? Yeah, I should be doing more exercise, no doubt. But I
We
want
all
to first,
should.
break bank, and then
Right. Right.
I
Yeah.
have enough, underlings and employees to help do a lot of the workload and expand my
Right.
work ability. Then we go further. But I suggest
Right.
everybody.
Sure.
By the way, just going back to the reading books, most of the books in high school that you're required to read, there's a reason why they require you to read those books. Like
Hmm.
Great Expectations, one of my favorite books, right?
Yeah.
1984. I think everybody should read
I love it.
1984. I don't know why they stopped
Yes.
reading 1984 in high schools, if they did
They
it at
did.
all. I don't know if they
Yeah.
did. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
Right.
follow high school
Okay.
the high school regimen. And
Right.
what else? And then you have other books that they have an obligation for you to read in high schools. And I
Right.
suggest that you should read them. Like, I'm not talking about the new woke books. I'm talking about the other books. The books
Right.
are
The classics.
literary
Right.
giants, right? Like, you should read
Right.
those books. And then they have many of these entrepreneur books. What's the biggest one that everybody reads? I never read it. What was the book called? Everybody says you
There's
should
so
read it.
many. I don't
It's like
know. There's so many.
the main one, the guy who interviewed every billionaire and millionaire from Rockefeller to Rothschilds. What was his name?
Right. Oh,
Uh,
I'm not sure. I'm not thinking about it right now, but I know which book you're talking about. Although I haven't read that, so I don't
right.
know. Yeah.
so,
So
uh, basically, again, you should read books. I mean, it's read,
right,
constantly read. Don't stop reading. That's the bottom line. Constantly
right.
read. I mean, right now, I'll be honest with you, I read a lot of books from Graham Hancock. I love it.
Hmm.
I'm very intrigued at his theories and his, his what he's done. And there's a lot of other books I
Hmm.
read. I just don't want to. I don't feel like disclosing every book I read. I don't want to promote books without getting paid.
Sure. Yeah. I hear you. Right. This is not sponsoring this podcast, so we are not giving that.
Yes.
That's right, for sure.
Yeah. There's no way he's gonna give me the book.
That's
I'm
right.
just.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's just a reality. If I promote a book, I mean, you got to get paid for the book. I mean, that's the reality. Promotions are, you never hesitate in making money on what you do.
Right. No, that I like that. That's right. Okay. The so in terms of so we've gone over all that. So and we know there's task management tools. We know there's all these things to improve efficiency. There's even the AI, different meditation apps. So I want to talk again, give some 5 action items for listeners because I love this because this is something that we want you to take away from this show. And we want to hear from you. What have you done? What have you tried? Have you tried anything? And have you implemented what we showed on this show? If you're going to iShook.com and trying these AI tools, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you found that worked, what helped, what other improvements you would like to see too, because all that feedback is helpful. So let's talk about this because I want to, we want to provide value here. So number 1, explore AI powered task management apps. So there are a lot of them. I'm not naming specific ones. You find out what works for yourself. But there are tasks out there to help you organize everything, prioritize your work efficiently. Once you prioritize it, you know where to put your time. Because if you can't get to item number 1, it doesn't matter if you didn't get item number 5 done, if that's not the most important thing. So that's number 1, is to look for AI-powered task management apps. There's a lot of them out there. Benny's probably developing 5 or 6 of them as we speak, knowing you, Benny. So
No.
there's coming. It might be coming down the line.
Yeah.
So
Let's see.
yeah. But by the the rest of us are sleeping. Benny's working on a new management app or something. It's very impressive. I like it. So I'm going to start getting up at 4 a.m. just to keep up with you, Benny, because I feel like a slacker sleeping into 5:30 or so. So I'm losing an hour and a half a day. So another one, and this is important, and we talked about this, the importance of recharging and resting, whether it's a mini break or not. JFK was known for taking 20-minute naps in the White House while being the leader of the free world. If he could do it, we can do it. So that's scheduling AI-driven breaks. Use AI to do that. There are different apps that remind you to take regular breaks throughout the day to improve your focus and productivity. Because Benny, sometimes we get so focused, we just went 2 hours, 3 hours, and we need to actually be told, hey, get up, walk around, you'll focus more because you don't realize when you lose that focus and when you're actually getting exhausted. So use AI to remind you, a little nudge, hey, get up and do that. And that's something that I find personally helpful because if I get focused on something, forget it. I'm focused until it's done. Next thing I know, my back is sore and my legs can't move because I've been sitting there. That's important. You'll come back more focused, more productive. This is something I like a lot. Meditation and relaxation apps. For me, before bed, I like to read and I like to do a meditation when I wake up, when I sleep, whether it's just breathing or whatever you want to do to set your intentions for the day. And there are a ton of these, but it just helps you incorporate some kind of mindfulness into your daily routine for focus and stress reduction. And AI has been amazing what they've come up with that. Even if it's just telling you, breathe in, breathe out. Because sometimes you just need that reminder. And AI is there for you. We used to have to go to meditation classes or something to do that. And that's not a religious thing. That's just something that's focusing on your breath and calming your mind for mindfulness. So AI-powered goals. Number 4, Benny, this is really important because there are so many goal-setting apps out there that help you track your progress or what you're trying to do. Set achievable goals. We should have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, and AI is there to do it. And it's so much better using it for this. And this helps you maintain that healthy work-life balance because you have your goals, you see what's long-term, short-term, and what you can work for at this hour or this week or this month. And number 6, this one we all use: experiment with different virtual assistants, see what works for you to help, delegate tasks, set reminders, manage schedules. Now, for our generation, Benny, it's newer to us. We didn't grow up with it. So we're learning how to do it. For my daughter, who's a young teenager now, it's funny. She uses these like it is her personal assistant, and it has full constant conversation. Sometimes I think she has friends over because she's constantly talking to a digital assistant, and it's funny, and they do everything for her. So utilizing that makes her world so much better. She wouldn't think like to me to even go check a clock. Hey Siri, tell me what time it is, or whatever it is, and using that for that. So those are some actionable items. I've been trying to give 5, but there's a 6th bonus because the virtual assistants are so important, so empowering, and so helpful to really utilize those. Whether you're used to it or not, they'll become second nature before you know. So Benny, I hope maybe some of those are of interest to you or to our listeners and viewers. These are simple things to do. They're available for you. They're not costly, and you can get them all done, implement them today, as soon as the show's over. Not during the show, wait till it's over, but you can implement it right away.
Very good. Yeah, definitely. I suggest everybody start dabbling with AI. Find the AI platform that's good for them. They can use iShook.ai. It's huge and robust. There's a lot of features involved. It's only $9.99 a month. And you're gonna and there's obviously bonuses, and you get also there's an affiliate program where you can earn money by sharing. And it's all available today as we speak.
That's going to incorporate probably all 6 of those action items in iShook.com's AI program alone, because you're going to
Yes.
have something in all of that right away. So that is great. So this episode, we covered a lot. We covered using technology to harness and make yourself more productive. And we recapped what we did last week, which was setting it and just diving deep, asking the questions, seeking answers, and Benny getting to pick your brain for it with your background and the way your mind works. I'm learning a lot. I know our audience is learning a lot, and we're all getting takeaways from that. I want to plug, I'm excited. Our next episode coming up is going to be more focused on mindfulness and productivity, because when you can take 10 minutes focused or 10 minutes scattered, think about what you can accomplish. So being mindful, and a lot of that is what you discussed, Benny: reading, train your brain to be able to focus on tasks. So we're going to dive into that. I'm a huge proponent of that, because once you do that and get your mind thinking a certain way, an hour to you being mindful is like 3 hours to someone's scatterbrain. So I'm excited to get into that. And I do want to plug, we wouldn't be here without the iShook overall umbrella. So check out iShookDaily.com. It's a blog where you can find out all this information and press releases and articles. It's fabulous. There's also ClickTalk, ClickTalk, like sounds like TikTok, but it's ClickTalk, ClickTalk. That was recently launched. iShook.ai was recently launched. And then, of course, we have iShook.com, which is basically your social media app with integrated chat, or AI, I guess, GPT, or, AI in there, basically. Correct me where I'm saying it wrong.
Correct.
Is there anything else? And of course, we have the iShook Experience. We'll be back next week or so with our next episode. Check out Midnight Market. Check out the Daniel Baldwin Experience. Check out Benny's show that he's running as well, with amazing guests, fascinating interviews. So something that you can learn from. Sit back, relax, instead of mindless watching. Watch all these things that we're putting out here on the network. Watch what Benny's putting out here. Learn, empower, constantly improve. That's my message for the day. Benny, what have I missed? Have I missed anything? Is there anything else?
No, you've been great.
cover?
These are shows that are needed for individuals who want to have a better, successful life, right? And success
Yes.
not in just in entrepreneurship, success in life itself. Because if your home is not successful, it will be very difficult for you to have success outer, right? For
Right.
outer external success, you must have inner success. And this is why I love this iShook Experience show with you. And we're
Yes.
hopefully going to make this show grow big. Now, hopefully, we will make the show grow big, and we will have a lot of guests to teach others. And just like you said, she's just trying to learn from others in order to convey the message to everyone that follows us.
That's absolutely it. Right. If we speak, we say what we know. If we listen, we might learn something. I'm paraphrasing here, but you know the saying. I
Yes.
love it. So thank you very much, Benny. It's not only informational and educational, but it's so entertaining talking to you. I love it. I enjoy it. This hour flew by. If you asked me, I could have sworn we were here for 10 minutes. We're at the hour mark and it just flew by. And that's the mark of any good and interesting conversation. This is fantastic. I can't wait for the next episode. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. That's my co-host, Benny Rachmaninoff, the CEO of iShook. I'm Chad Nafusi, and we will see you next time. Thanks again.
No problem.